Hello and welcome to URM's latest webinar. This is under the GDPR banner and we're looking at data subject access requests, or DSARs, and how to respond to them. My name's Lisa Dargan, I'm a director at URM, and I'm joined by Rachel Salter, who's one of our lead data protection consultants, but our in-house expert at DSARs. Thank you, Rachel, for joining us. So the agenda today, we are going to address all of these questions that were on the original invitation throughout the webinar, but we're going to look at what constitutes a DSAR, what you need to comply with when you're responding and the key steps to take, how to appropriately consider context, and as we walk through this you'll see how important this is. There's not one size fits all single rule that we're going to take. What you can do if you believe the request is excessive or vexatious, what derogations and exceptions are and how to apply them, what you should and shouldn't redact, and some of the common failings we see. And actually, for all of those of you that are attending, we have an offer at the end of the webinar on an upcoming training course. So if you're not familiar with URM, just to give you a little bit of background to us, and we've got over 15 years experience with data protection and GDPR, and we have a team of specialists on as part of the organisation. We've supported over 50 organisations to achieve compliance with GDPR, and really importantly for today, we offer a redaction service, typically for the more complex DSARs, and within those numbers, there's a lot of organisations that we deliver redaction services to. And as you'll find out from Rachel as we get going, but we have a very passionate team of people who, like you, possibly have sat there thinking, what are the rules, how do I apply them, how do I go forward, and equally who are now consultants. In terms of Rachel, Rachel's been involved with data protection since 2010, have had a baptism of fire in the police, where I think they probably get some of the most frequently requested DSARs, and very critical that you get redaction right when you're responding to those, you don't inadvertently deliver information. And I think it's probably fair to say it could be a life and death situation. So Rachel's got a lot of experience. As well as being a senior consultant, Rachel is also a trainer, not only of certificated courses, but also the one-day courses that we deliver. And is familiar with UK GDPR, EU GDPR, and then we have to call them out, both of them out, and global legislation. So let's start. Rachel, can we go back to basics? So we're all on the same page, for all of us, those attending this webinar, and actually understand what is a DSAR.
So it's quite timely that we're discussing DSARs today in light of recent reprimands that the ICO have handed out over the last few weeks to 2 local councils. And those reprimands are in relation to failing to respond to a DSAR. So this is the perfect time to have this discussion. Mostly these reprimands are around the fact that those councils have failed to meet their obligations within the statutory timeframe, and we'll talk about a little bit about that later. There's also been some very recent guidance published by the ICO for British businesses to give you more specific detail on how to deal with the DSAR. It's a very complex process, and that's why there's all of this guidance out there. What we're going to do today is just talk about it at a basic level, give you all of the facts that you need to know rather than having to spend hours on the guidance. So the UK GDPR grants individuals, us, anyone, a data subject, the right to access their personal data that's being processed by a data controller, as well as any supplementary information that a company may hold about that person. And that could be somebody asking, please send me my HR file, can I have a copy of the notes of my last appraisal, what information do you hold about me, can I have a copy of an email that was sent to my manager. Sometimes it doesn't have to include the word DSAR, it can just be, I want to see my information.